Cuphead is one of the most beloved video games of all time. People love it for its animation, its 1930s aesthetic, and most importantly, how goddamn difficult it is. It's no secret that Cuphead has made a name for itself as one of the hardest video games of all time, with many people saying that it's a kid-friendly version of Dark Souls. That's putting it lightly. And the reason for why it's so goddamn hard is the boss fights themselves. Some of them are winners, and some of them are not. And since I haven't done a top 10 video in a year, I thought I could do the top 6 worst boss fights in Cuphead. Now, I need to make this abundantly clear, this is my personal opinion, obviously. So if you have your own list, tell me in the comment section below. And if you think I'm wrong on some of my picks, I don't care. Anyway, let's begin. Wow, we're starting off with a banger, aren't we? The problem with this fight is the platforming. Sometimes there are moments where there are no platforms to land on. And this is a real pain in the ass because there's a specific move where Rumor keeps shooting bullets at you, and it's hard to avoid these bullets when the platforming keeps screwing you over. And it just feels like the second phase as a whole is a cheap shot, and even parrying is a real pain in the ass. And as for the third phase, I hate it. I really hate it. Because I've died to this phase 15 times. And it's because she keeps fisting me.
We keep getting fisted, man! Fuck this game, dude! Fist me, daddy! No, how about you get fucked, daddy?
And then there are moments where she summons a bond saw out of nowhere. Overall, this fight is just not fun. I will say I like the first phase because it's manageable. It's easy, it's not that hard. But the second and third phases are complete nightmares to get through. And if you're still with me, let's press on. Now, I might get some people disagreeing with me, but personally, this fight is pretty boring. I'll give Rumor credit, she at least had me moving around the environment. Wally just has me locked up in a corner for the first phase of the fight, which really bored me for a little bit. Another thing I don't like is the feathers that fly across the screen, mainly because these are what I call cheap fucking hits. And let me tell ya, this certainly won't be the last boss fight that uses this as a technique. Ooh, don't you worry, I'll get to you real soon. I like the second phase though. I thought it was pretty good mainly because it has me moving around and dodging these eggs with spikes. And the third phase, while it does force me to move around, which is something I do appreciate, I don't like that it constantly keeps throwing bullshit at me. You've got these birds that are popping pills, a heart that comes out of Wally's mouth and shoots bullets at you, and then Wally just coughs up a bunch of trash. Like, what the hell is this? If I had to sum up this boss fight, it's more boring than aggravating, even though there are some aggravating moments in here. Whew, okay. Now we're in the boss fights that made me come close to breaking my controller. This is the only boss fight I don't have an A+ on, because much like Rumor, this has shitty platforming mechanics implemented into its fight. The first phase is not all that bad, but I found it really hard to parry these rings of fire in my opinion, and the fireballs, while tricky, are still manageable to get around. The second and third phases suck my balls, and they make me hate this boss fight to a catastrophic level. The second phase has these shitty fireballs that constantly keep jumping at you. Every time I try dodging them, I end up fucking up my landing, which causes me to miss the cloud and hit the tongue. The third phase is just not fun, because now Grimm has brothers, and they shoot mini fireballs at you. And guess what? If you have Crackshot or Chaser equipped, that's gonna suck for you because those guns will aim for the mini fireballs, which will lead to you getting hit. Oh, and he summons a flamethrower. So yeah, this boss fight sucks. The first phase is not all that bad, but the second and third phases... I always had issues with these phases back in the past, and I still have issues with them now. Fuck this dragon. You know, I've heard people like Charlie say that the DLC of Cuphead is easier than the base game.
Hey, second try. I honestly feel like this is so much easier than base Cuphead.
And to that I say, no it's fucking not. Some of these boss fights were a real pain to get through, and the worst one out of all of them was Esther Winchester. This fucking annoying cow bitch. I've died to this fat piece of rib 35 times, and most of it was because of the first and final phase. Can you really blame me? The first phase is just jam-packed with a bunch of bullshit at once. You have this stupid eagle that keeps throwing dynamite at you. You've got this bird that flies across the screen and shoots a spike at you. You have Esther herself that's packing heat. And finally, there's a rare moment where she'll lasso a cactus and pull it onto the screen. Not gonna lie, that's a lot to take in. And it's only phase 1. And guess what? It doesn't get any better from here. I'll give Rumor and Wally some credit. They saved their what the hell is this sequence for the final phase. This chick just comes in swinging. The second phase isn't any better, as she's constantly sucking in things like badges, money, gold, and other random crap, and then she shoots them into the air, and then a bunch of safes drop down onto you. And I won't lie to you, it's really difficult to avoid them. Especially on expert mode, seriously, what the fuck. The third phase is, honestly, not all that bad. I got through this phase with little to no problem. And then we get into the final phase. Yeah, it's bad enough you have to get in between the sausage links, but she's firing peppers at you while you're doing it. You know what? I hate this cow, and I hate this fight. It deserves to burn in the lowest form of hell, and I will make it my personal mission to eat every single cow I come across in my life. Fuck you, Esther. You guys remember when everyone said that the devil's fight was pretty easy? You guys just had to run your mouth, because now they made a boss fight that's much harder than the devil. The problem with this boss fight is the first phase. There's so much shit that Chef Saltbaker is throwing at you. He's got the dough, he's got lime, he's got strawberries, he's got sugar cubes, and he has that super fucking annoying fireball at the top of the screen. I haven't passed through this phase without getting hit. That's how challenging it is. And please, I beg you, I plead with you not to try this on expert mode. It's more painful than shitting a brick. I'm not playing around. It really is hard. The second phase isn't much better. You know, this phase would have been easy to navigate through if it wasn't for that goddamn fireball from the first phase. And these leaves are just really annoying. And the salt shakers are constantly spitting shit at you while you're walking around. So, that's not fun. The third phase is fine. All you gotta do is dodge the spinning salt ballerinas and the saw blade, and you should be fine. And then we get to the final phase. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I've died to this phase 10 times. 10 whole times. And don't you dare make fun of me, because there are other YouTubers who have died to this phase too.
What is that? What?
You parry him, but you still die? Wow.
Okay, you're parryable. Easy. Not easy. Oh, I if I parried that, I would have been like able to get back to the platform, and then that tiny bit of time that I would have had extra would have been perfect.
I didn't think Saltbaker's fight would be this hard, but no, it's pretty goddamn challenging. You remember when I said that Esther's fight was pretty hard? Well, it still is, but this one tops that fight by a wide margin. This fight is just pure pain. With the other DLC fights, I can play them multiple times and never get sick and tired of them. But this one? When I first saw that knockout, I have never been more happy to defeat a boss in my entire life. Fuck this fight. I don't care if I don't have an S rank on it. I will never touch this fight for as long as I live. Before we get to number 1, I feel like it's only necessary that we do a few honorable mentions. I'm only putting her here because of her expert fight. Like, Jesus Christ, who thought mixing the ghost with the pufferfish was a good idea? Whoever came up with that, I hate you. His first and second phases are a little hard to navigate through, especially on expert mode. Even when you have them memorized, it's still a little hard to get through on replays. The third phase is not that bad though, but the first and second phases suck complete balls. And
they suck complete dick.
His expert fight is a real bitch to get through. This is the only fight on World 2 that I haven't cleared on expert mode, because holy fuck is it challenging. And not to mention, some of the moments in these phases aren't even fair. Fuck this fight. I hate clowns. Moving on. This fight isn't all that bad, to be honest, but what puts it on the honorable mentions is the final phase. There's a moment where the screen rotates and I swear to God I died right then and there. And to be honest, I don't like it when video games do that, because it really fucks up my hand-eye coordination. But other than that moment, the rest of the fight is not that bad. Just every single one of them. Okay, to be honest, I only had issues with Chalice's tutorial. Other than hers, Cuphead's tutorial isn't that bad. People just don't know how to play video games these days. This fight is too long, I don't like boss rush fights to begin with, and finally, parrying the card should be easy, right? But for some reason, it's not. And it's not just me that faces that problem.
I only got one more hit.
Alright guys, let's not stall any longer. Here is, in my opinion, the worst boss fight in Cuphead. I hate this fight so fucking much. This boss fight gives Chef Saltbaker and Esther Winchester a run for their money. And I don't want to hear any of you guys saying, "Oh, Christian, this fight is an easy fight." If you say that, you're lying to yourself. Now, let's talk about why I hate this boss fight so goddamn much. Okay, so for this boss fight, you're fighting in a plane throughout the battle. Yay! And you have 3 options to pick from. You can attack his grower, which shoots lasers at you.
For your information, madam, it's a grower, not a shower.
You can attack his chest, which sends out this robot that's parryable. And lastly, you can attack his gut, which sends out these super fucking annoying drones at you. But guess what? When you destroy each body part, karma will bite you up the ass. If you destroy the laser, he starts shooting nuts and bolts at you. If you destroy the chest, his hands will either use a magnet to bring you to the end of the screen, or his hands will twirl in the middle of the screen and start launching bullets at you. And last, but certainly the worst, If you destroy his gut, there are these super fucking annoying bombs that will constantly follow you around until they hit you. And trust me, this won't be the last time you see these guys. Anyway, if you manage to get through phase 1, the second phase is not all that bad. All you have to do is hit his head, which is constantly flying back and forth. Pretty easy, right? Well, I would say that if it wasn't for the fact that those bombs from before are constantly chasing you. Yes, every time the head flies back and forth, a bomb follows suit. But if you have your super meter filled, you should end this phase in a couple of seconds, since it is the shortest phase in the entire game. And then finally, we get into phase 3, which can only be described as bullet hell. Whoever thought this was a good idea needs to get kicked hard in the balls. And guess what? Someone at Studio MDHR decided to put electric walls in here for no goddamn reason. And that's it. These are the biggest reasons why I hate Dr. Cal's robot. The first phase is pure torture, with this goddamn robot throwing too many things at you at once. The second phase, while not all bad, still has those annoying bombs that chase you around. And the last phase is pure hell, with Dr. Cal launching a bunch of projectiles at you, while also throwing in electric walls into the mix.
Because fuck you.
And that's why it's an easy pick for the worst boss fight in Cuphead. Well, that's my video. If you enjoyed, please tell me what you think. And if you disagree, what are some of your least favorite boss fights in Cuphead? Or, better yet, what are some of your favorite boss fights in Cuphead? Tell me in the comment section below. And, yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Also, what do you guys think of Season 2 of the Cuphead show? I think it's pretty good, pretty enjoyable. But you know what I like most about Season 2? Cala Maria. Look at those luscious lips, those beautiful eyes. Oh my god. Look at me. What am I doing? I'm simping. I'm simping over a mermaid. And what's worse is that I lost the challenge. It's only day 2 and I lost the challenge. Son of a bitch.